Hello everyone. I am sharing my story with you today. This is my 6-month anniversary from having my basal cell carcinoma removed, or my skin cancer removed from my forehead. And I wanted to make this video, one, to share my experience and kind of what happened, what we went through. I wanted to share a little bit more information about, different types of skin cancers, and the video is just going to be too long. So I'll make some follow-up videos that kind of review how to identify different types of skin cancer, and also a video on my scar treatment and aftercare. But right now we just want to talk about what happened, and this all started about a year and a half ago when I noticed a little bump on my forehead that I thought was just acne at first. I thought it was just a little pimple, and I didn't really pay it a lot of attention until probably a few weeks or even, a month or so later. I was like, why is this still there? Why is this not going away? And even then I was like, oh, it's just probably some, gland or something that's swollen, or I still didn't make it a big deal. I do have a family history, and obviously I'm a higher risk person since I'm pale, Caucasian. I get my skin tone from my dad. Thanks, Dad. And my grandfather did have skin cancer. My dad has had some things removed, but nothing that actually came out cancerous. So it's in the back of my mind, and obviously I'm a physician. I know this is something that's not looking normal, and I need to start paying it some mind and figure out what's going on. I showed it to Varun eventually. I was like, hey, look at this. Like, what do you think?
Yep.
And
I mean, it was probably 3 or 4 millimeters when I first saw it. And, people at home, they'll try and squeeze out the acne, see what comes out. It wasn't the typical kind of pus that you would get. It was just some clear, scant.
kind of gelatin almost.
Yeah.
Material.
So the thing was, after I noticed it and we tried doing that, it was the same size, if not larger, just a month or two later. And it had that pearly kind of color, that characteristic color of basal cells. So when we said we need to get that checked
out.
Yeah.
So quick on the basal cell. Basal cells tend to be flesh colored, your kind of skin color. They tend to be a little bit translucent, so you can almost like see under the first layers of skin. And I'll put a picture. I didn't take any great pictures beforehand, just because again I wasn't planning on making a video about it and wasn't really concentrating on it. But I have some videos where you can kind of see that there's this just little mark on my forehead. So I'll try and put that over while we are talking about this. But for darker skin tones, obviously the lesion's going to be darker. It can look brown or a glossy black color. So again, the main thing is it's a lesion and it's not going away, and it's maybe getting a little bit bigger. It's time to get it checked out. I went in for my initial visit and I was like, hey, I got this lesion. It's probably been there over 6 months. Probably should have got checked out earlier. But he's like, okay, it's probably not a big deal. We'll go ahead and do a biopsy, which they just numb it up a little bit. They do a little scraping and they send it off to pathology. About a week later, I get a message saying, you know what? It came back as a basal cell. So we have to do another procedure to cut it out. Luckily, Varun was able to come with me. I made the appointment. I guess I just didn't really realize how I was gonna feel when I went there, or
how
really
big the procedure was actually going to be,
how much they were gonna have to take, and how I was gonna feel after. So luckily I made it on a day when Varun had off, but he was actually on call and could have been called in, but luckily didn't. So he was able to come with me. And I'll put in some pictures now here of the day of the procedure. You might be able to, if you look closely, see some tears in my eyes. I'll be honest, when they drew out the lesion, what they were gonna have to take, I was surprised, a little bit shocked, and a little bit scared. how's this gonna look? How am I gonna recover? I'm gonna have this huge scar in the middle of my forehead for forever. And Varun was so sweet. I don't know if he was surprised either, but he really calmed me down and was like, you know what, it's gonna be okay. And I was so glad that he was there. Yeah, I don't know if you were surprised, but you hit it well if you weren't.
Yeah, I mean, the extent of tissue that they had to remove it surprised me too. I mean, that was gonna leave a sizable scar. But
Yeah.
as you can see, if you're not paying attention, the way Crystal has outdone herself with her scar and wound care after the procedure, you could probably not even tell that something took place unless you were staring right at her forehead up close. So
Yeah.
excellent job on your part too.
Thank you. And I will also give props to my dermatologist,
Yeah.
who also did a really good job, and it's important to find somebody who's comfortable with this. So thank you.
Yeah. So, the importance of this whole video as well is, doctors, doesn't matter who you are, we are not immune to life. Essentially, any small thing that just lingers. Goal of this video as well is not to just let it wait. Most primary care physicians are handled to do biopsies. The actual excisional procedure would have to be done by a specialist, but we would be able to refer you in the right direction. Because I'm in urgent care, understand also the importance and the utility of urgent care is, I understand that, especially in COVID, wait times were about 3, 5, 6 months sometimes to get into primary care, let alone a specialist.
If you're not already established.
Correct, yeah. I mean, if you're just trying to seek medical care, you can go to an urgent care center and request a primary care referral. You would be able to get in within 1 to 2 weeks if you did that. So.
And they can also refer to specialists
Yeah.
as well. So be aware. I will again follow this video up with some more information about skin cancer in general, and also the products that I used and what I did to help with my scar healing and minimizing the scar over time. I'll try and put a quick just before and after picture in this video so that you can kind of see what we're kind of dealing with, but I'll go into more depth in our next video. So if you have any other questions or any other concerns about this, definitely reach out. But the person to reach out to is your physician, your family physician, your urgent care physician, your dermatologist. They're there to support you. And hopefully this has been helpful. And if you need anything else, let us know.
See you in the next one.